Hey, how's it going? My name's Lena. Welcome to my garden. I'm a gardener from Zone 8B on the west coast of Washington State. Right now it is the beginning of August of 2023 and I'd like to show you guys what I have going on in my little backyard garden this summer. I started this garden 5 years ago and ever since I started I feel like this summer has been the hottest and driest so far. So I water my garden a little bit more than I normally would. I do it deeply once a week, but I admit I haven't been watering my lawn at all. So I kind of just let my grass die. I have this love-hate relationship with my lawn, you guys. I feel like it's a waste of water to just keep it lush and green, only for me to just have to mow it down, you know, every couple of weeks. So this summer, because it's been so dry, I've just kind of let it go. But I take good care of my flowers, especially the flowers that I have in my containers. I water it, you know, sometimes twice a week, depending on how hot and dry it gets. I don't think we had any rain at all in the last month and a half or even 2 months, and temperatures have been consistently higher than 80 degrees. So it's been like exceptionally dry and hot for our zone. I did my last tour in June, and if you watched that video you probably know that I had a bunch of roses blooming beautifully in the month of June. Right now those roses are taking a break, but I do have other flowers that have come out to play. For example, right now this is the golden time for my oriental lilies, and back here I have this bright red lobelia, which is such a hummingbird magnet, and I love this plant because I love hummingbirds. It really attracts these beautiful creatures to my garden. I have some beautiful gladiolas that are, like, you know, growing tall and blooming nicely. Some hydrangeas are also in bloom. So without further ado, let's walk around and take a look at some of the you know, beautiful blooms that I've got going on. Alright, we're gonna start right here, which is where I was standing earlier. I was using the shade of this bloodgood Japanese maple tree to stand under. I planted this tree in the fall of 2020, and it's gotten quite a bit bigger and wider than when it first went in the ground, but it's a slow grower still. I would say it's a slow to moderate growth. But it's beautiful. I've got two trees here in the middle of this yard section, bloodgood Japanese maple here, and a cherry tree, a variety called autumnalis over there. Along the border I have some flowers in containers. These are my oriental lilies. This is such a good time to view lilies because they're just glorious right now. I started with 3 bulbs in this container 3 years ago. One of them was Stargazer, which is this pink one here, and 2 bulbs were salmon stars, which are these orange flowers in the front. They've been living happily in this container and flowering reliably for me every year. I have 2 of these containers. I've got one more over here. So same deal, started with 3 bulbs, 1 stargazer and 2 salmon stars. And I think they just look really lovely together. Right behind this container, I have a small shrub of Hydrangea macrophylla. This is a variety called Sister Teresa. Sister Teresa is such a pure white, quite a bright shade of white of hydrangeas, if you ask me. It's so, I don't know, like, it just makes this corner pop from wherever I look at it in my garden. In front of it I have Little Gem Magnolia that I planted a few years ago, I think in 2020 also, in the springtime. It's about 4 or 5 feet right now. It's coming along nicely. I've got 2 of these guys, one here and one over there. But before we go over there, I want to talk about this plant. This is the plant that I was saying earlier in the video, how it attracts like hummingbirds and bees also to my yard. I just got this I think about a week ago, and this is a bog plant. It's called lobelia. This is a variety called Vulcan Red. So Vulcan Red lobelia, I have this planted in a container, and because it's a bog plant, I have to, you know, come out and water it almost daily, because it likes to be wet. It likes moisture. If you are planting this in the ground, you might be able to get away with it with just watering once a week, but for me, I water like every day or every other day. But this this plant right here, oh my goodness, hummingbirds love it so much. And I love watching hummingbirds come into my garden. I had to go back and buy one more of a different variety. And hummingbirds, for some reason, like they seem to really like red flowers. I have some red hollyhocks and red gladiolus blooming right here. I have to show you this clip of this pair of hummingbirds that came to my garden yesterday. They were so lively and cheerful. I came out to do some light yard work, like deadheading some flowers, and I'm so glad that I had my camera with me, my phone, because when this pair of hummingbirds came to my garden, like they weren't shy around me either. Like they would fly really close, and they were just super cheerful. I don't know, like there's something about these magical creatures. I love them so much. I'm so happy yesterday. And they seem to really love this like red lobelia and red gladiolus. Like they just tend to love like bright flowers. All right, so let's continue on along this border. Have some roses in there, and I've got some more gladiolus blooming. This like baby pink variety, this is my favorite color. Look at how gorgeous that is. And I also like the mysterious purple as well. It's beautiful. I have a rose here, Pilgrim from David Austin. This is its first year, so it hasn't really put on too much growth, but I'm gonna train it to climb up this trellis in the future. This is Never Alone Rose, which is going on its second bloom or second flush of blooms. It blooms in clusters like this, and it blooms abundantly. I really love this rose. It kind of like, keeps my garden going all season long. Alright, so I have an L-shaped backyard, and we're gonna come and take a look at what's going on in this section later, but for now I'd like to go back here and just take a look at what's going on here. Underneath my bloodgood Japanese maple tree, I keep a few containers of this annual pink dahlias because I love pink, and it's just nice to have like little pink flowers hidden here and there in the garden. I love that. Alright, take a look at my lawn, guys. It's so brown and so dry and dead. And I'm so sorry if this bothers you guys. I know it bothers some people to see dead lawn, but if I have to choose between my lawn and my flowers and trees, like in terms of water usage, I'm gonna choose my flowers and trees because, they bring me more joy. Anyway, let's take a look at this here. I have my cherry tree here, and around the bottom I created this ring of flowers. I wanted to make this section like a little memorial garden for my late mother-in-law who passed away earlier this year, and I wanted to fill in the space with flowers, like cheerful flowers that remind me of her. This silvery white beautiful leaves here in this blue container. This is Angel Wing Senecio. I bought this last year, and I thought it was going to be like an annual plant in my area, but surprisingly this particular plant didn't die. It survived what I thought was a pretty cold winter that we had. Apparently it couldn't have been that cold if this plant survives. But anyway, it's looking really nice next to these cheerful, dainty little wildflowers. I grew these wildflowers from a seed packet that I just bought at Lowe's, and I think they look really nice. They're growing kind of around this rose that I have. This is Silas Marner from David Austin, which is not in bloom right now, but what is in bloom here is this beautiful pink dahlia. This is a variety called Creme de Cassis, and Creme de Cassis is like a pink dahlia with a little bit of like maroon purple center, and it has a water lily type bloom, which I prefer. Like it opens up to almost a flat bloom, which makes it look bigger than it is, the flowers. Right in this container next to my dahlia, this is phantom hydrangea or Hydrangea paniculata, and this is a sun-loving hydrangea. I propagated this baby plant from its mother plant, which is right there in the background. We're gonna take a look at the mother plant here in a second. But this is its second year living in this container, and it's been really happy so far. I might have to plant it in the ground in the fall this year. But right now both plants are in bloom, and they've got such lovely creamy white flowers that are cone-shaped. It's a really attractive plant. In the fall, these flowers will turn pink, starting from like a lighter shade to like more intense. And by the end of fall, you have like the same tree with the same flowers, but very, very pink flowers. So interesting. Okay, behind me here, I have another oriental lily. This is a white variety. This is called Casablanca. And this one is growing in between my two roses, Le Petit Prince. I'm gonna insert a picture of Le Petit Prince when they were in bloom, because this section just looked absolutely gorgeous, adorned with Le Petit Prince's lavender flowers. I've got some more oriental lilies back here. This is a spot where I often come out and drink my morning coffee, and I especially love it because of all these flowers here. Further back from this area, I have more oriental lilies growing, also Casablanca. This area gets full sun, believe it or not. They're being grown kind of behind my peach tree, but my peach tree is super young, so it hasn't really put out many branches to shade out this area, so they still get full sun, and that's what lilies love. I might come back here later to cut some for my vase inside. They're looking gorgeous right now. August is like high time for lilies. Okay, all right, now let's go and take a look at my Hydrangea paniculata in a tree form. I have this Hydrangea paniculata, a variety called Phantom, growing here as a focal point on my patio, and I love it. I love coming out here, to eat or drink my tea in the afternoon with that in the background. It just makes my patio pop. I love the creamy white color, but I do have to say one thing though. This tree attracts bees and wasps like crazy, so if you don't like these flying insects, you might not want to have it anywhere near your patio or anywhere near your seating area, because you might get scared or whatever reason. For me, they don't bother me at all. I feel like they tend to just do their own thing, they mind their own business. They're here because they have a job to do, and they don't come after me, they don't come after my food, even when I have food out here or drinks out here. But the funny story, the other day I had a girlfriend over, and my girlfriend is a perfume girl, so she was smelling really sweet and nice, and these guys were all over her. But they left our food alone, but they they wanted to land on her and just smell her. Let me give you guys a few facts about this beautiful tree of mine. It was bought and planted in the summer of 2020, and it grew quite a bit compared to when it was first planted. The trunk, however, I feel like it didn't grow at all, and even if it did, by very little. I can't really tell the difference. Right now it looks to me like the trunk is standing at about 3.5 feet tall, but the branches and the flowers of this tree grew bigger and wider every year. It is a sun-loving hydrangea. The spot that I have it in right now, it gets full day sun, 6 to 8 hours a day. And this tree is a really good team player. If you want to plant other flowers around the trunk, if you keep it like 2-3 feet away, you'll be fine. They'll both do fine. Right now I have some oriental lilies growing around the trunk. looks really beautiful together, and they're both very healthy. In the spring, I have some daffodil and tulip bulbs in here, and in the fall, I've got some dahlias and chrysanthemum. So this is quite an action-packed area, and I want to keep it that way because this is where I spend most amount of time in my garden, on my patio. It's quite lovely, but like I said before, you know, like this tree attracts all kinds of flying insects, and I'm gonna stand still here for a few seconds to see if you can spot all these insect activities on this shrub. All kinds of bees, wasps, and I think I like see some hornets here too at some point, but I don't want to say that for sure because I don't really know how to identify all these flying insects. The flowers are cone-shaped and are quite large, around like 6 to 8, maybe 10 inches long. It stays super white all summer, but towards the end, it'll turn pink gradually, and by the end of fall, you'll have bright pink flowers. This tree is very, very attractive. I really love it. Okay, let's take a look at some container plants along my patio. This is an annual container that I have every year, and every year I grow annual geraniums that I overwinter. So I've actually had these plants for a few years now. I just bought them once and never had to buy them again. In the middle here I have this rose that was gifted to me by a family member. I think it was from Trader Joe's. It was meant to be a house plant, I think, but I wanted to plant it outside. This is a white rose called Shirley's Bouquet, it has to be one of my favorite white roses out there. It's so gorgeous. I have an annual hibiscus here that I overwinter inside every year. Because I just love the bright tropical feel of hibiscus. On the other side of my patio, I have the same rose, the same white rose. This is Shirley's Bouquet, and it's going on its second flush right now. See so many buds, so excited. Alright, now let's go to the other side of my L-shaped backyard, and let's see what's going on there. We're going to take a look at these bright colored gladiolas, and if you could see, there's a little hummingbird that's visiting it right now. Isn't that lovely? My goodness. And I have these gladiolas growing behind this dahlia that I have no idea what I planted here. I see a couple of buds that are about to open, so I'm about to find out what variety I have here. But right now I can't take my eyes off of this beautiful creature. In the same bed, I have another lobelia. These bright red flowers right there in the center. This is a different variety than the other one that I just showed you. This variety is called Starship Scarlet Lobelia. But the flowers look exactly the same, bright red, tubular flowers that attract hummingbirds and bumblebees. There's a bee on it right now too. In front of it, I've got a couple of more dahlias, the low-growing varieties. They're yellow and red. And I have Shasta daisies on the right corner there that have just finished with their blooms. But when they were blooming, they looked really wonderful. Let me see if I can come a bit closer. Oh, I don't want to scare you away. Alright, we're gonna leave this tiny little hummingbird alone, and we're gonna come to this area, this section. Right along this wall. This is a north-facing side of my yard. So this area, it started for me 3 years ago, and I think that was the year that COVID happened. One fateful day in spring, I got really bored, but I had this vision that I wanted to create like a row, like a garden border full of hydrangeas, like growing in a row. And so I came out here, you know, and I started to dig and dig and dig, and I planted 5 hydrangeas. And I had this really high hopes of my hydrangeas kind of filling up the space, like just within the first season or two, but that didn't happen. And then I didn't do such a good job of digging and killing the grass. So I had a bunch of grass like regrowing and a bunch of weeds growing in this area. So it was pretty ugly, you know, for like a long time. And I kind of, in my previous videos, I kind of hid this area from the camera quite a bit until recently. One of you asked me, hey, how come I don't grow any hydrangeas? Because hydrangeas are so beautiful. That's when I came out and admit that I do have a lot of hydrangeas actually growing in my yard, but I just haven't been showing them because they just haven't been looking great at all. So, but this year is the first year that you know, they are kind of really starting to show off their beauty. And now that we're going on our third season of this row of hydrangeas, they are looking much better. If there's a virtue that I've lacked all my life, it is patience. And I've learned so much through these flowers to be patient. This is one of those plants that sleep, creep, and leap for me. And even now, some of them won't even flower. Like this one, for example. This is a pink variety. It's the same variety as this one at this end. And the variety is called Merit's Pink Hydrangea. And I could see the flowers here. And this is one of those varieties that no matter what soil you plant it into, it's going to turn out pink. Whereas these three in the center, this is Endless Summer Hydrangeas. And these are the hydrangeas that will change color according to your soil pH level. But when I planted these guys, I didn't amend my soil or I didn't really do anything to my soil pH level. I planted them as they were. Because I don't really mind what color they turn out to be. I'm so in love with these like cotton ball looking flowers that I don't really care whether they're blue or pink. But right now, from looking at them, they look kind of, I mean, all kinds of colors, but mostly purple. So I think my soil is something in between. I see some pinks here, some purples, and a little bit of blue. But these two in the front of my house, I want to show you guys here. I also didn't amend the soil or change the soil pH, but these two are quite blue. It is being planted next to my rhododendron, and I'm not sure if the people that planted this, so the rhododendron came with the house when we bought the house. They might have changed the soil pH when they put down rhododendrons here. But this was the variety. This was a blue variety as well. It was called Blue Danube. Blue Danube. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Blue Danube Hydrangea. And it's supposed to be blue no matter where you plant it. And I think that's why as well. And since we're out here in the front, let me show you what I have going on the side of my driveway. This is James L. Austin, a deep pink rose from David Austin. It's got deep pink blooms. It's got like many petaled rosettes, and it has like nice little button eye. It's a really beautiful rose, and it's quite bright, so it will catch your attention from afar. It's being planted next to Harlow Carr, which is a mid-pink flower, kind of shallow cups, and here are some more oriental lilies. And I think this is what is this flower, Liatris, I think it's called. I've got a few hollyhocks up here, and I have this really beautiful sunflower This is an annual that I grew from seed earlier this season. Sunflowers are one of the easiest plants to grow. I've got a clump of coneflowers or echinacea there, a lot of lavender and catmints and salvias in this bed. So lots and lots of bees all day. So that's what I've got here. Let's go back to where we were in the backyard. Oh, hi, Charlie. So cute. Thank you for not escaping, even though the door is open. Good girl. Okay, so let's come back to where we were just now. So I really hope that, in a few years' time, this entire hedge is going to be really lush and full with my mature hydrangeas, and it's going to be really beautiful in the summer and fall. I've gotten kind of smarter with starting a garden border. So here, instead of just like digging right away, I covered this area with lawn fabric, and I'm going to mulch the entire area and wait like a season or two for grass to completely die before I start digging and planting. Right here, this very small tree on the right, this is sweet bay magnolia that I planted only like a couple of seasons ago, so it's still tiny. But this area receives like full sun, like all day sun. And right next to it is a red twig dogwood, which is a very beautiful plant, especially in the winter, because all the branches turn bright red. So when it snows, like it really stands out. And to the left, I have another one of Le Petit Prince Rose, which is kind of funny because even though it's the same variety as the other two that I have on the other side of the yard, this one is always the latest to bloom. So, which is kind of nice for me because even though it's August and most of the roses in the yard are kind of taking a break, I have this rose still going strong, producing lots and lots of blooms for me to enjoy. And I quite like this pink lavender blooms of Le Petit Prince. It's really pretty. And nice, strong, sturdy stems that are able to hold the flowers upright. If we take a look here, kind of in the middle of this yard, I have a bed that is full of pink and purple and blue and white flowers. These are some hollyhocks on their tail end of the bloom cycle already. This is like a creamy white flower. This stalk right here, oh my goodness, is so tall. Stands like 6.5 feet, almost 7 feet tall. And when it was in full bloom, it was looking really beautiful, full of flowers that look like this. What color would you say? Like it's kind of red, mostly red, a little bit of purple. Quite nice in here. I have a couple of roses, some gladiolas in here that are probably going to bloom soon. But I've got quite a lot of low-growing pollinator attracting plants in here. Things like salvias, penstemon or penstemon. I don't know how to pronounce that. Lavender. I've got some more coneflowers, and I think I have this plant called Veronica in here as well, although I don't quite see it right now, but I think I do have Veronica in here. Lots and lots of bees and hummingbirds too. These flowers that have like a tubular shape, bumblebees and hummingbirds really love them. All right, let's walk back here for a second because I have a lot of first year roses that I'd like to show you. This is Teasing Georgia. It's a deep, rich yellow medium climber that I'm trying to train to climb up this trellis. And it is quite small because I just planted it in spring. But look at these beautiful blooms. They almost remind me of Rodale blooms, although Rodale is a bit more apricot compared to this one. This one is like a deep yellow. Quite gorgeous. And next to it, I have another first year rose. This is Sceptered Isle. The Sceptered Isle has light pink cupped flowers with yellow stamens. It just looks so delicate and just so romantic. I really love this rose. Right now it's going on its second flush of blooms of the season, and I see quite a lot of buds here, planted at the same time earlier this spring. I bought this together with Teasing Georgia. Sceptered Isle is being planted behind my carding mill and container, and it was planted at the same time as this one. This is the Lark Ascending, and the Lark Ascending has soft, delicate petals in apricot. It's a very graceful rose. This is going to be quite a large shrub, and I made sure that I gave it plenty of space to grow. But look at those delicate, romantic petals. I love it. They last quite a while too on the branches. This is also a first year rose. This is Queen of Sweden. Queen of Sweden has light pink. The blooms really remind me of this flower, Ranunculus. Am I pronouncing that right? Ranunculus. This shrub rose is a tall grower, and it has like upward facing blooms, but it's gonna be quite narrow. Right now I have it growing in a pretty narrow spot there. Probably has about 3 feet to grow, and it's growing right next to my rolled dal in container. Look at this beautiful flowers of rolled dal. It's got like apricot yellow tone to it, and the whiter as the petals fade out, the outer petals turn very pale, like almost white. It's a very healthy and a very vigorous shrub. It's already going on its second flush, and it's almost in full bloom right now. It took a break like all the roses, but Roald Dahl's break is relatively very short compared to my other roses. Back there is my Strawberry Hill, which I showed you guys in June, in my summer tour early in June, and it was looking so wonderful. If you watch that video, you'll see. But we can see like more buds here, so it's already producing more buds, and it's probably gonna bloom here soon. I have some more climbers, red one and orange one, that are taking a break. But I see this beautiful bloom of this rose. This is Bosco Bell, and Bosco Bell has like I see like 2 shades of coral and pink that are kind of like blended together. Really nice. Alrighty, I think we are coming around like full circle. I think I've showed you everything except, there's one more. This is Molly New, which is a yellow rose from David Austin. It's got rich yellow, very neat rosette blooms, and this is like quite a compact little shrub. It plays well in this bed right here. Alright, now let's walk back to the patio. Hey guys, hi Charlie. Hey Rita, are you guys just chilling? Alrighty, I think that's it for me today. So that's what I've got going on in the months of July and August here in Zone 8B Garden, west coast of Washington State. I hope you guys are enjoying some beautiful blooms in your garden as well. And if you are in the same boat as me in that you've been doing a lot of maintenance work in your garden, things like pruning, deadheading, adding compost to the soil, mulching, and watering the garden, like what I've been doing for the last month, don't forget to take some time to sit back and relax and, just look back and enjoy the fruits of your labor, like what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm probably gonna do one more tour towards the end of the season, probably maybe like mid to late fall. So I will see you guys then. Have a wonderful day and happy gardening, everybody. Bye.